Hello guys, Schwinn Gaming here, and today we're going to be learning how to program in the language Java. So, this is going to be the first video in a series that I'm doing on learning to program in Java. And with that said, let's get started. So, Java is a programming language. It's very similar to many others. The thing I like about it is it's very compatible with pretty much every computer out there. So you're pretty much not going to have a computer that a Java program won't run on. Even some like parking meters and iPhones and Android phones, pretty much everything will run a Java program. So that's why I like it a lot, and it's my main programming language. But it's not hard. That's another thing I like about it. It's very easy to learn once you get the basics down. With that said, let's get started. We are using the program Eclipse right here. We're running the Java version Java EE. I'll link you in the description to a video about how to set up Eclipse. So now let's start programming. First thing we gotta do, go to this new button right here and go to the Java project. And then you want to name your project something. I'm going to name mine just first program. But feel free to name it anything you want, and then just click finish. And now we can open this up. And it'll say SRC and JRE system library. This system library is where Java stores all of its like run things, the internal workings of the computer. You don't need to worry about that now. I'm going to have a video, probably 2 or 3 videos down in this series about how that works, but for now you don't need to know about that because that's pretty complicated. So now you're just going to right click on that, go to new, and then go to class. Or, as I prefer, if you've set it up right, you can just go to it right here and click New Java Class. And now we're going to type a name. I'm just going to call it Program. You can name it anything, but make sure you capitalize the first letter, because that's pretty much like an industry standard thing, consistency thing. Everyone names their classes with an uppercase letter, just for consistency. It won't break your computer if you don't, but you should. Now click finish. And we're presented with some starting code. Now I'm going to go ahead and delete that because I'm teaching you, but essentially Eclipse, because it's an integrated development environment, it will automatically help you code so that you don't have to type and break your fingers. Trust me, you want that. It's super helpful because it means you have to type less when getting the same points across. But yeah, let's get started. First thing you want to do is type public class program, and then do a space and put one of those curly brackets, and then press enter, and Eclipse automatically makes the other bracket and a new line with an indent. So now let's talk about what that did. First of all, public class program. Public. Well, actually, no. Let me do class first. Class, what that does is it tells Java that there's it's a file that uses the Java language. Every file in Java will be its own class. Almost every file that you make. And sometimes classes can communicate with each other, which brings us to the next point, public. Public tells you that any other class can access the inside of this class. We'll get into more of that when we make multiple class programs, but for now, let's just move on. And then program, that's just the file name. It has to be the same as the file name, otherwise it'll throw an error. Like if you say program class, it says the public type program class must be defined in its own file, or you can either, and Eclipse will give you 2 quick fixes, which will be rename the file or compilation unit to program class.java, so that's just renaming it, or rename this word to program, which is what we're going to do, so just click on that, and it renames it back to program, which is the same as the file name. Now we can go ahead and start typing. So we'll start the internal workings of the program. Public static void main. string args, and make sure string is capitalized. Java is a case-sensitive language. And then you just put another bracket and press enter. So now what has this done? Public, it's another thing, again, which is basically telling the program that this method can be accessed by any other file in the computer. Sometimes you use private, but much less common than public. Static means that this can be accessed by any other program without creating what's called an object. We will learn about those, are really complicated, so we'll be learning about those in a future video. Void, well, if you wanted to make a program that like returned something, like you'd input something and then it would give you, like, multiply it, or it'd give you a random number maybe, and it would return the random number, you would put like integer, what type of thing it's going to return. But for this, because it's not returning anything, you put void. Main, that's just the name of the method. Every class, or every program in Java has to have a main method. When you run a program in Java, the computer will go through all the classes and look for which one has the main method, and it will go to that main method and run it first. So whatever is in this brackets is what the computer is going to run first. String bracket args, ignore this for now. Just remember that you need it in every program. And now we can go on and type the actual bulk of the program. And it's just going to be one line, which is going to be, we're going to try and write something to the user into the console, which is down here. Or if you ran it outside of it, it would pop up in a window. And we'll say system out, and that's the Eclipse popping up, so you can just press dot and it'll automatically come up with suggestions. And we can even just press O and it'll come up with out. Out.println, and just delete that arg0. And then parenthesis, semicolon. And then in here, well, first of all, this is what this is going to do. It's telling the system, which is our computer, and output println, which stands for line. So it's going to print a line to us, and we can just put quotation marks in here and say hello world. And now the quotation marks tell us it's over. It's not going to like print anything outside of that. Parentheses tells us that this method is like closing, and then semicolon tells us that that line of code is over. You want to put that after every statement in Java. Do not forget this. It'll drive you crazy when you're first starting out to code, so make sure you always put a semicolon. That tells the computer this line of code is over. Then whatever's next in the file will be a new line of code. But then we can go ahead and save that by pressing Control S, and then click right here, that play button, to run the program, and you'll see it pops up down here, hello world, and then it says terminated. That just means the program is over. And then it'll give you information about where the file is and stuff in your computer. But all it did is just printed out hello world. You can also change what's in here, like hello Schwinn, and that's what it'll say. So there we go. Just change this back. Alright, so that's it for our first program tutorial. Thanks for watching. There'll be a playlist of all these videos that I'm making in a row, and so thanks for watching. See you next time.